Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to break down the Swamp Showdown event, respectively. This is actually going to be Nimrod's free-to-play event. We're going to be seeing how feasible it is as a free-to-play player and what you should be targeting, especially now that we've seen the full breakdown here for the points. So, without further ado, let's get started. How are you going to be spending and earning points on this event, respectively? It's going to be a few things. They've been adding more and more of these mechanics going in, so you have to understand what you're doing. That way you can actually maximize this event to the utmost. The spending of Night Stalker Showcase energy, that's very similar to the past week event where we've been going through the showcase and using energy day in, day out. That's also what I've been using my power cores on. If you have Ice Away campaign energy, this is also going to help out, because I made a video last week where I was recommending we should, hoard as much as we can, because it's going to make the event overall easier. And on top of that, we're going to be also earning bonus points if you use Mercs for Money, Out of Time, and Superior 6 characters in Alliance War. And it does look like they include both offense or defense. So this is the event chart breakdown. They always have a monthly item that I would recommend going for, just because of the fact that this is going to be adding obviously points for the monthly milestone. There's ions to go around, and as well, more importantly, for you folks that have not unlocked Nimrod, myself included, I'm going to be targeting for the shards. But how free to play is it, and what exactly will we need in this event overall to actually complete it? Before I dive into the actual calculation, guys, I just want to point your attention to here. They do bring as much information as they can. Obviously, the Ice Away campaign, they never really release this information, but usually it's a multiplier of 3 or 4 based on the energy that you spend. And you can see here, there's a heavy amount of points actually situated for investments into Mercs for Money, Out of Time, and Superior 6. So for those of you that have invested in these characters and teams already, this could be a very, very easy Nimrod event. Having said that, for myself personally, I'm not too involved in war, but thankfully I do have 2 out of the 3 teams actually built up quite a bit. But you're gonna have to review your roster to see where you want to min-max, because at the end of the day, there's also going to be a way that you can use your power cores to supplement the showcase energy, and that's another way to attack it as well. And don't forget, there's always a web milestone component tied back to this. So that's the sugar rush right here, and as you can see, it's similar to the past weeks. If you fully spend 400,000 candies over the duration of the 7 days, it's going to give you all the points there. So adding all this up here, this gives you about 11,000 total points going to the main milestone. Remember that number for later, because we'll be breaking it down. So that, in a nutshell, is the overall event. So this is the breakdown table here. Obviously, the big milestones we want to be targeting is milestone 13 for the orange holy water, but right below it, milestone 14, milestone 15. Those extra 25 and 40 shards for Nimrod respectively, that is what's going to give you the total here of 100 possible shards from Nimrod. So how does this look? What exactly do we need to do for this event, and how many teams or tunes do we need to actually hit the certain thresholds? This is my chart right here, guys, and as per usual, I like to break it down in terms of what's going to be possible for utilizing your power cores. And at the same time, the way I wanted to show this was based on the assumption that you don't actually have the majority of these characters or teams built up to even gear tier 17, because that's going to be ultimately the deciding factor here. So as you can see, the showcase event, because it's worth 6 points per, assuming you core 200 power cores per day for the 7 days, it's going to give you close to 29,000 points. Next up, we have Ice Away campaign energy spending, 4 points per. That's going to give you roughly 13,000. And no, that does not include any kind of power cores usage or any Ice Away energy hoarded. The magic number is 3 to 4, so I'm just going to assume hopefully it's 4 points per. By the way, you'll see in the grand scheme, it's not going to matter, because what's going to decide it for you at the end of the day is these 3 teams right here. Out of Time, Superior 6, and as well as Mercs for Money. If you have these characters built up, one of them, like one character at gear tier 17 is going to generate 2,400 points over the 3 war battles. One character at gear tier 18 is going to give you an extra 3,000 plus the 2,400, because it includes them being holistically gear tier 17. And then lastly, if you have a character at gear tier 19, that's an extra 3,600. So 9,000 points per character that's gear tier 19 is kind of the big value add here. For my analysis, I actually just inputted one gear tier 17 character to illustrate what the point total is going to look like if you only have one single character out of the 3 teams at gear tier 17, which is highly unlikely, but that's why I wanted to demonstrate this example for you folks. And then, yeah, otherwise, we just factor in the assumed free claim, which is usually 500 points per day for the 7 days. That gives you 3,500. And then lastly, that web milestone component that I touched on earlier being 11,000. Okay, so 200 cores per day being utilized for showcase energy. That gives us a grand total here of 59,000. And how useful is that number to you guys is going to be dependent on how deep and how far you want to go for this milestone. So you can see, like I said earlier, at milestone 13, you need to actually hit the 60,000 to not only land the holy water, but as well the 35 shards of Nimrod. If you're able to achieve 81,000, you get the extra 25 Nimrod. And then lastly, if you are able to achieve 103,000 points, that's the big whopping total of the 40, giving you the 100 total shards of Nimrod there. Now, this math is very elementary. I wanted to keep it simple for you folks because you can see doing the bare minimum here with only one character at gear tier 17 is going to get you close to 59,000. Again, assuming you use Power Core 200 per day for showcase energy respectively, and assuming you didn't hoard any ISO 8. So overall, guys, the event is actually pretty good. Most folks likely will have a Black Knight built up. Most folks likely will have Green Goblin Classic, and as well as a big prominent character as well in the situation is if you've built up teams, you know, like out of time for the Green Goblin Classic unlock. Well, excuse me, out of time for Old Man Logan unlock. He's going to be a big one too. Old Man Logan, Black Knight, those characters are going to add a sizable amount of points in this total. So I wanted to bring this information for you guys, but overall, if you are going to be targeting a couple of characters, those mentioned are the ones I would highly recommend. And then otherwise, you should be able to at least capture milestone 13 or 14. What I would personally recommend, folks, is that I'm probably going to be using as many characters as I can. I'm not going to build up any specifically for this event, but I think I only need about 40 shards to unlock Nimrod. So my initial goal is probably going to be milestone 14 to get the total of 60 shards from Nimrod, 81,000. But otherwise, if I can end up with anything more, I'll take advantage of that. But what I would highly stress, guys, is that remember, Power Cores is a very important resource now in the game. So if you're able to use your characters already built up, make sure you maximize using them in the war battles, and then that's going to actually deplete your Power Core usage for the showcase, because you don't need to spend Power Cores and save that if you don't need to for this event, because this is not a leaderboard, so we don't need to prioritize that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Overall, it is a good event. It's a free-to-play event, but it's going to be a little bit based on the luck if you've already built up some of these characters and teams. And then, like I said, the good news is that characters like Black Knight, Green Goblin Classic, Old Man Logan, you will need these characters in the end game. So if you haven't built them up already before this event, I highly recommend it, because like I said earlier, if you have them at gear tier 18 or 19, it's going to give you at least 5,000 to 9,000 points per character. Hope this is helpful. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.